only you guys could see how ratchet the setup is, you would literally die laughing. I just have my computer literally stacked on top of all my nail polish sets, and then my phone is propped on top of it because I left my camera and my tripod at home, which, like, my home with like my parents, my dog, and my sister. I am clearly at my home away from home, so welcome to my new apartment. This is my new place where I will be filming like 90% of the time. Welcome to my new crib. If you guys have not seen my new updated apartment room tour video, I'll link that down below. That was the last video I posted. But yeah, welcome to a very casual Saturday here with me. I'm literally doing homework and just getting some work done. And I just felt like sitting down and filming a video for you guys for this week, since I haven't like uploaded a proper video. I just kind of did a quick update / room tour. But I just wanted to sit down and chat with you guys. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so that way you can subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell for post notifications so you guys know when your girl puts a video on the YouTube. I wanted to do like a very real talk with you guys, like what it's really like being a girl boss. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I know a lot of you guys have actually seen my teen entrepreneur story. If you guys haven't, I'll link that down below, but I'm pretty sure most of you guys have seen it. I haven't really like sat down and like actually talked about like the very real, the very hard things to do. And I first want to kind of like preface this video by saying I feel like entrepreneurship and like this whole girl boss movement and everything is like this hot, new, trendy thing that everyone wants to be a part of, which I'm all for. I think starting businesses is awesome. I think getting women into business is amazing. And yes, like I totally encourage you guys, and I hope I can inspire you guys to go out there and do that. But I think with that comes like, I don't think people understand exactly what they're signing up for. And I totally was under this like preconceived notion of like, all I need is a really cool idea, and then I go and make this really cool idea, which in theory probably sounds like the most complicated part is actually just getting to execute on that idea, which don't get me wrong, that is difficult, but like wait till I get into this video. But I feel like for most people, they're just like, all I need is this really cool idea, then I go and make this really cool idea, and then I'll end up a millionaire the next day. And I feel like when you look at most of the success stories out there, it's kind of how they go. Like, you know, they were here in their life, then they had this really cool idea, then they really worked and developed it, and then they had their hardships, but then something kind of broke through and now they're a billionaire. And that's often a story. That's not everybody's story, but I feel like those are the stories that we tend to hear. And I wanted to make this video as someone who is an entrepreneur, but still running very much a startup. I just kind of wanted to talk about like just all the struggles that, you know, I've dealt with, and I know that like other friends have dealt with. And I hope that like this is actually like real tangible info that you guys can use if you're either looking to start your own businesses, or if you guys have started your own business and you kind of find yourself in a rut or you don't really know what's going on or how to like keep moving forward and, you know, that kind of stuff. I want you to know like I've totally struggled through it and probably struggling through it now, and so I'm with you and I hear you, and I hope this video helps you because sometimes I just need that extra inspo. So I guess one of the first things people assume is that when you go to start your business that like you quit your job and, you know, you focus on your business like 100% full time and don't quit your job until you're like making money. And here's why, because when you go, like, a lot of times when you're still in this idea phase, you're like, this is really cool, and like I can't shake this idea, which is amazing, that's awesome. But there's a whole lot of time that goes in between having this idea towards research, towards execution, that all sort of happens, and you can't live off of your idea yet. You need food. And so I think a lot of people automatically assume like, oh, when you start your business, you just quit your job, you quit school, or, you know, you quit your full-time position and you go and do this full-time. Which there are people who do, but I mean, pretty much everyone I know has some sort of side hustle or some sort of side income that they have until they can get their business up to like a profitability standpoint where they can actually take their own income and like take their own cut out of their business. But for a while, you're not going to see that. So by all means, I think you should totally keep a job. And as that starts to grow, you can kind of shift your schedule around. But for the time being, you're going to need to pay bills. And especially if you are starting a new business, you're going to need money to fund it. And I can get into the details of that in maybe another video if you guys are interested. But for now, like as a startup, you're going to need some sort of income. I know for me personally, I'm a student full time, so that takes up a lot of my time. And then obviously I run Rungh, which is my business, but I also have had a series of jobs while I was in college. I used to work for like the alumni office, the alumni department in the business school. Right now I'm actually working for another startup doing some like very basic generic work for them and like social media and easy stuff. But it kind of pays the bills. It's nice because I can work on my own schedule, my own time, and still get paid for it. So I would recommend finding jobs like that. I feel like the other stigma is like, oh, now that I have an idea, now that I'm this entrepreneur, like I'm too good for everything, because you're gonna slog your ass off before you get any sort of reward, let me tell you. Another misconception I think a lot of people have is that once you start your business and, you know, you start making money, you suddenly start like making money, and that, you know, you're gonna be living this rich and lavish style. Oh my god, you guys, I rent from my apartment. You guys, if you saw my bedroom tour, my bedroom is so small. 90% of the events I go by myself, and my nail polish sets are big, so it's just me, tiny little person, carrying like pounds of nail polish to events by myself. If I go to New York, I literally take like a cheap mega bus. Like I can't even take the train. I literally can't even afford to take the train. I take the bus, I walk, I take the subway, people assume that I guess you fly first class and you go to all these events left and right, and I've definitely had to turn down some events because I couldn't afford to go, or it just was out of my way or out of my time and I wasn't going to get paid for it and it just wasn't worth it. Don't ever start a business for money. There are going to be so many things that you are going to find that are going to pop up before you even see a dime, and if you're not willing to give it your all without seeing any sort of financial reward, you should not do it in the first place. Because let me tell you, I've been doing Rungh for like a year and a half now, and I'm still not paying myself. Like, I'm gonna be so honest, I'm not paying myself, and so you have to be ready for that. I've put in money into Rungh, I've spent money on going places, travel expenses, all that kind of stuff, and I haven't taken a dime out for myself. So if that's not an investment, if that's not something you're ready to do, if that's something you're not willing to wait it out until you can, you know, pull money in, which sometimes you might not even get to that point. Sometimes your business might not even do well enough where you can get to that point. Like, this is not the business for you. The next point I want to talk about is this idea of like an overnight success. I feel like 90% of these really big stories, you know, you see Apple, you see Microsoft, you see Facebook, you see Amazon. I feel like a lot of people, the way these stories are sort of told, are that, you know, they had this really cool idea, they quit their 9 to 5, or they quit school, and they worked on their business full time, they launched it like a week later, and then they woke up a billionaire the next day. And that is so far from the truth, and I realize like a lot of these articles and stuff are always summed up because of course they're not going to get into the nitty-gritty stuff, which is why I kind of actually wanted to post a lot of these videos on this channel so you actually know what the hell we go through, because you don't wake up a billionaire the next day, you don't even make $10 the next day, like honestly. So and that can be really discouraging, like for someone like me who is, you know, sometimes gets stuck within her business. It's hard to see like, wow, they had this hard time and then they just powered through it and now they're a millionaire. And I'm like, I had this hard time and I powered through it, but now I'm kind of back to having a hard time again. Like, what am I missing? And the truth is they totally dealt with that too. There were so many other things that they just did not point out, and it makes it seem like they became an overnight success. They spent years working on their companies and making sure they had the right connections and the right ways to pitch their idea before they even got to the point of even pulling in money to their business. People just assume that once you have a really cool business that they're just going to find you because it's so cool. And I was so naive about that when I was younger and I was first starting Rungh. I was like, this is really cool. I'm just going to send it to a bunch of YouTubers and they're just going to do a video because this is really, really cool. And then you actually get into starting your business, you actually start reaching out to these people and you realize that's not actually how this works. Sometimes you get through to them, sometimes you don't get through to them, sometimes they have a different rate, and you're like, oh my god, I cannot afford this, or oh my god, this is totally worth the money. There's so much work that goes involved just in that, and just to get like one video out was like a chain of emails that probably lasted like a week or two. And that's one of those things that people don't get, or like they don't realize, is like, especially when they see these videos and people were like, Neha, you like broke the internet with your company. And it's like, yeah, because I wanted it to, and I worked my ass off so that way I could get to that point, because if I didn't do something about it, it wouldn't have happened. People automatically assume I know how to do like a financial projection. People automatically assumed I knew how to work QuickBooks and do my accounting. People automatically assumed that I knew how to do sales. And I can make a whole other video about shit school doesn't teach you, because that is like a whole different game. Let me know if you guys want that video, because I would be thrilled to make it. But school hasn't taught me, like, everything that I've learned for Rungh and for doing my business, like, none of it has come through school. Like, 100%, let's be real, I haven't learned jack crap from school that is directly relevant to my actual business. And so I've had to learn everything by myself. I mean, I say by myself, my dad's been really helpful, especially things for like QuickBooks, because he also is a little bit more experienced with it. A lot of it I just sometimes have to Google, like, how do you account for this? How do you budget this? How do you do this? And like, Google, we live in a great time period where you can Google a lot of this stuff. There are definitely things that I still don't know how to do, and I still have to reach out to other people. Which brings me into my next point. Definitely create a really good, strong network of like-minded people. One of the things I want to actually talk about is be prepared to lose people you thought cared about you. And I realize that kind of probably sounds really weird, but I'm going to tell you like my own personal story. I had okay. I had my group of really, really close friends. We were like best friends. And then, you know, I started picking up things with Rungh, and then I was on TV, and then we were on BuzzFeed, and like just all these things were happening. And there was almost like this little bit of like a jealousy factor that kind of went in, and also just time. And like I was, you know, dedicated to my business. I'm not saying I cut people out, because that's just personally not a me thing. Like, I love making time for people. I will totally make time for people that I care about. You go through lots of changes in friend groups. And this is one of those things that's normal, and it happens, and it does kind of take a toll on you. I mean, one of my friends, she literally like moved out from her parents' place because they just weren't supportive of her dream and her goals, but she had to do it because it was something she believed in, and now she's doing amazing things. And for me, I knew I had to separate from that friend group because they were just holding me back and they weren't being supportive. One of the things people forget is that entrepreneurship is actually so lonely, and you're in this by yourself a lot of the time. And so if you don't surround yourself with people who are supportive and people who really do care about you wanting to do awesome things, it's going to hurt you really, really badly, and it's going to suck. And I'm not saying that it's, you know, a one-way street, like they only have to care for you and you don't give a shit about them. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying surround yourself with people who are just as supportive. Like, I'm supportive of my friends, and I want them to be supportive of me, because when you're down in the dumps, because you will be, you will feel really shitty probably more times than not. But you're going to want somebody who is supportive, somebody who gets it, who's going to be like, get your shit together, you're boss-ass bitch, go do your things. And you need that. Like, you really need that. You need that when you feel like crap and someone's like, you know what, I went through 10 times worse, so get your ass up and do the thing. Someone who wasn't supportive would be like, well, that sucks, maybe you should just give it up. And that's going to hold you back. You don't want someone who's going to hold you back. You want someone who's going to help encourage you and support you. And so that's one of the biggest things I would recommend to you guys is surround yourself with other entrepreneurs, and surround yourself with people who are interested in entrepreneurship and startups, and who are interested in investing and things like that. Those are great networks of people to have. And I've also found that not only are they the most supportive in more ways than one, I mean, whether that's getting a connection to a certain place, or if that's, you know, getting someone to help invest in you, or just even giving you a follow on your Instagram, or giving you a like on a photo, or giving you a vote when you need it. Like, all that stuff adds up and makes such a difference. But I think that it's just such a warm and welcoming community. I mean, entrepreneurs, I haven't really met one that isn't really open to meeting new people and, you know, hearing about other people's stories and wanting to see how they can help one another. I think that's one of the really cool things about startups and entrepreneurship is just how warm and welcoming everyone can be, and how everyone just really wants to support each other, because I think once you're in this boat of like having to actually create your own thing, you realize how much you really need that backing. And so by surrounding yourself with like-minded people, it's just so comforting knowing that you have other people to sort of lean on and support you and get you going. That's it for today's video. I hope some of these things helped you guys and really inspired you. I tried to get as nitty-gritty as I could. I'm sure after I finish filming this, I'm going to think of a few more. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button down below. Let me know if you guys like videos like this and if you want more of like the detail, in-depth, like what it's really like running a business kind of stories. Let me know down below. Or if you guys just want to see anything else, let me know as always. And make sure you guys are subscribed and you hit that little bell button so that way you guys can see my vlog when I go to New York on Monday. And that's it for today. I'll see you guys later. Bye.